Good afternoon, Tampa, Florida. This is your boy, Mike Trigg.
Saba, Baptiste.
This is No Losses, Just Lessons.
Yes.
Today we're going to speak on a couple topics. We're talking about the coaching changes in the historically black colleges and universities, and NIL and community growth for the most part. The first thing we're going to talk about is I guess the college carousel and NILs and how it's affecting the landscape of college football, not only Power 4 or Power 5 football, but the historical black colleges as well. I think for the most part, the historical black colleges are benefiting greatly from NIL because players that are at the Power 4 or Power 5 schools, they want an opportunity to showcase their talents. So they're coming down to the smaller schools to get more action on film. As far as saying with the coaches, I think Deion Sanders, man, he is the, I would say, if I had to say, he is the mecca of coaching for us right now. Even in the Power 4, we don't have many black coaches in Power 4, Power 5 football. But Deion Sanders, what he did at Jackson State was really great. And it just started a buzz for ex-NFL players to start coaching on that level, the black college level. It's been great to see Michael Vick, Deshaun Jackson, even Ed Reed, my frat brother. He had took a job at Cookman. Now this is a tough situation for him because Ed he's a Hall of Famer, played at the University of Miami, played for the Baltimore Ravens. Really great ball player. And when he took the job at Cookman, he didn't understand the dynamics of the black school. Deion did. So the things that he was struggling with were deal breakers. He had no resources at a Division I school, even though he played FCS football. But he didn't know what he was quite up against, and that led him to just kind of not follow through with the job at Cookman. It was a better decision for them to go a separate way because he was exposing too much of the black college business, and it was sad. But I'm with Ed. We got to do better.
Right. So that's a wonderful opening and segue because we not only get to talk about NFL players moving to HBCUs as head coaches, we also get to showcase some of our HBCUs. And I'd like to just give a little history on the HBCUs. There's 107 HBCUs. People might only know about 2 or 3, but there are 107 HBCUs. And the number one HBCUs, which is historical black colleges and universities, the number one is Howard University. And that's the number one. That's kind of like what they call Harvard University comparative, right? And for the black community. And it's been open ever since 1867. Right. So it's not new. So all of us out there, look into these schools. And number 2 is Spelman. Spelman is number 2, private, and also Howard is private. They're private HBCUs, and this is an all-woman college, Spelman is, and this is in Atlanta, Georgia. So we have a lot of academia prevalence out there, and these have been lasting for many years. And I like to also put out the number 3 school in Florida, FAMU.
Yeah,
FAMU is number 3. And what I like about FAMU was founded in 1887, and it was founded with 15 students. And at the time, 15 students and 2 instructors at State Normal College for colored students. And it still exists today as one of the number 3 top colleges. Definitely top HBCU college in the state of Florida.
And probably one of the number one pharmacy schools in the state, in the country.
Okay.
You come out of there, you go on a job. You get a job at CVS, Walgreens. I mean, it's one of the number ones. It's one of probably the. I don't want to put the facts out there because I hadn't did a fact check, but I'm pretty sure it's top 5 pharmacy school in the country.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And actually, this is what the Black community done way back when people said we couldn't go. These schools came about because we couldn't go to white universities. Now, what's really interesting, we have 107. There are 56 HBCUs are private and 51 are public. And what's interesting, a lot of those HBCUs have white students.
Oh yeah.
Yes, have a lot of white students that attend these colleges. So keep that in mind.
And when they do attend there, they get minority needs scholarships.
Yes.
Because they are the minority.
They are the minority.
Just like when I go to a PWI, and I'm the white institution, I get the minority needs scholarship. You know.
Exactly.
So I just think that what I like about the historical Black college universities, when I attended Fort Valley State, it was open door policy, meaning that if you graduated from high school, we're going to take you with your high school education. You got to take a placement test or SAT, and if you're not college ready, we put you in developmental studies courses to get you ready. Then you be administered to the college at large. And they did that all over the world. They don't do it too much anymore.
Right.
And that's sad. To me, I hate the fact that, we've gotten away from the reason why we were founded. We were founded to give every minority the opportunity to get education.
Well, I'd like to add to that. Yes, and because of that, we saw our numbers kind of increase.
Right,
and,
right.
And
so now you have a test score to get in.
Exactly. And also, remember now, we have not always been treated well when it comes to public education. The education system has not been as prominent or as, the word is, it hasn't been comparatively with other white schools. So we needed that extra. And
oh, definitely.
Right, we needed that extra to help us get into the doorway, get our skills up, and then go into the actual college or the university seeking degrees. So since that was taken away, we have seen a decrease in our population.
We have seen a decrease in enrollment in Black colleges all over the world. And I just think that we got to get back to our roots with that, to be honest with you. And if we do, I mean, because there's a lot of kids, they probably want to go to college, you know what I'm saying? But knowing that they didn't do what they need to do in high school, and they graduated, but they didn't take the SAT. They didn't have a Saba Baptiste as a parent, you know what I'm saying? Or Mike Trigg to understand, no, we got to do this, this, and this. You got to dot your I's and cross your T's if you want to pursue education after high school. So, but like Saba was saying, if that's the case, once you get that high school education, I strongly push entrepreneurship. However, I still think you need to go to school for 4 years because that's where you find yourself. And if you can't go to school for 4 years, get a trade. And if you know that you want to be a business owner, it's all welding. You can be a professional welder and work for yourself. Or you can be a barber. It's all kind of things you can do out there by yourself at trade schools. But you got to it always come back to the parents because you got to guide your children.
And I'd like to also add to that. I know we started on the HBCUs and the Black players, NFL players going to HBCUs. But this subject here is so needed, and I think all the coaches would be saying the same thing as Mike saying and myself about, not everyone can play football. There's only a few out there. So we have to think about other fields. And one of the things that I noticed being in education and also raising 2 kids, I consider them very successful in education, like Mike and his family. I want to remind you, yes, it's up to the parents, but I think we're going into the 4th generation where the parents have gone to broken schools as well. and they didn't get all the skills they needed. And today we want to talk about, okay, how do we get this information? What do we need to know? And because a lot of the schools don't give you information, and parents are stuck just like kids are stuck. We need to be strong enough to use our tax dollars to say, we want to contact the Florida Department of Education. That's open to everyone. And they have, if you want to know guidance, if you want to know academics. And one of the things that I know for a fact, Hillsborough County had practiced not letting high school students in the county black students, go to the technical centers. They're saying they need an entry-level test. That's not true. If you graduated from Hillsborough County Public School with a regular high school diploma, you should be admitted to any of the technical schools, college schools, without having an entry-level test. And that is on the legislative level. They have document and language out there. So for all the students that don't see a four-year college in their near future and they need to get some skills in 6 months to a year, 18 months, you can go to the technical schools. And you can call Department of Education if you have a problem getting enrolled in those programs. And so back to Mike, go ahead.
I just feel like I want to piggyback on what she's saying, and it always going to come back to me. If we're not educating our kids a certain way, you know, we delegate to the teachers because that's their job. But accountability is going to fall solely on the shoulders of the parents. So we got to do a better job of educating our kids, sitting our kids down and educating them. You know what I'm saying? I tell you, I got my kids in here right now, and some of the things they used to hate when they came over the weekends, I had to write an essay about the weekend. And I had to fight them tooth and nail. Why you got, like, I want to see your educational level. I want to see what you're writing about. I want to see, can you write? Can you dictate on paper, you know? But we talk about it now, and they understand today. But as a child, they don't understand. So you got to make sure that you have a relationship, and they know they're loved. And anytime you love your kid, they'll seek the approval of their parents.
Yes.
You know, you can give them anything if they feel loved. They might be a little resistant, but they're gonna do it. You know. So
I'm gonna speak from a perspective of a tutor out in the community, and I have clients, and I notice that I teach the parent and the students. I have a lot of comments where parents would say, "Thank you, I didn't know this was important until I met you." So one thing I would like to say, and you know, I believe in grace. So a lot of the parents really, from my experience, and I'm talking about a large number, the parents do not know what they need to know for their children academics. And I go back to the fact we're going into the fourth generation of schools, high schools, middle school, and elementary schools being broken. So if you notice online right now, they talk about the Gen Z actually can't read. It's circulating on the podcast right now. And you also have teachers, why are they leaving their jobs at alarming numbers? And some of those teachers are very, very valuable, and some of those teachers are very good, but some of them do need to go. Because historically, you can check, it's not my word, it's all the professors out there and all the researchers have wrote, children encounter the biggest and the consistent racism in public schools. So if we ever gonna purge that, we need to get the right people in front of those children. And parents have to know how to advocate for their kids in public education. That's gonna be key. They have to advocate in a positive and the right way and follow up. And because really all education is to give you skills to have a better life. No one goes to college to make less money. People go to college to make more money and to do things that they love. Entrepreneurs, business owners, they see themselves as going out and betting on themselves. An entrepreneur is a person like Mike. He has a business and he hires people. That's really the definition of an entrepreneur, when you do job creation. You have a business owner, it might be just that person. It might work for themselves. But we need more businesses in the community that pays our people living wages. And you start through that by educating yourself, being certified in things. I just spent 2 days at a seminar for technology.
Right.
Technology is key. We all know artificial intelligence is out there. And they brought in the Asian community to say, Asian guy said he's gonna give 100,000 jobs out there. Those jobs are upward mobility. You have to know skills, coding, computer engineering, information systems, there's a huge need out there. So all of this is education. So we need to get serious if we want money in our pockets to buy our homes and take care of our kids. And we're never too old to learn. Go to school, learn a skill, talk to your kids. Your kids will, if you are in their best interest, they will listen to you. Right. Don't give up. Keep them going on the right track, because we don't want the negative alternative for our kids. And we all can do it. And what you want to say about that, Mike?
I mean, nothing else need to be said. My thing is, you just gotta, anytime, it's just like coaching and teaching in the same to me. And you gotta be spearheaded by the parents if you want the best for your children. Like I was told on the previous podcast that we did earlier, I just said, if you're coaching, the father has to be the first one to inflict pain on the athlete. Because if the father make you work a certain way and he push you through that, you know that you got to push through when you got another coach. But if the father say, when you get really hard and you say, okay, you stop right there, baby, it's okay, you just stop, no, you good, then you're gonna stop the rest of your life. Right. But when the father say, no, push through. I remember my daughter Maya, is so funny. She shoot the basketball and we go in the gym, we shoot, but then on the next day, we got to get to the hill. And she telling me, oh, Dad, my chest. I said, well, baby, we don't have heart conditions in our family, so you just got to keep working. You know what I'm saying? And but she wanted me to tell her to stop. I said, no, you don't finish. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? And she had to fight through it. But if I had said, baby, just sit down right there. So she'd have been doing that with her coach. Coach, my chest hurt when she got tired or fatigued. And the coach said, okay, well, just sit down. And if the coach didn't tell her to sit down, she would say she would think it was okay because her dad told her to sit down. Nah, you got to be the best. You got to fight through that. And that's just what you got to do in life. You got to fight through all kind of, I teach my kids, don't run from adversity, run to it. Right. But handle it with a good mindset. Right. Don't be belligerent when dealing with an adverse situation. You just got to, understand it, process it, and then make an intelligent decision how to get through it. Right. I agree with that. Because raising my son, one day, and it's certain things parents don't take a look at. I mean, and women, we didn't. I was big on academics. Academics was it. Matter of fact, I pride myself in teaching my kids how to read very, very young. The first thing I gave my 6-week-old grandbaby was 7 books. And, and my daughter sends me videos. The baby has no clue what's going on, but she's turning those pages and reading to the baby. So I'm looking forward to something coming out of that. I don't know what yet. Yeah, right. Yeah. And so with my son, I remember, he was like at the top 3%. He was good, took calculus, going right into 9th grade. Really, really good, because that's how we kind of push our family in academics. And I had to find people like a Mike Trigg to be around my son, because I could do all of this other stuff, what they call soft skills, knowledge, and all of that. But I needed real people that cared about my son, that were strong Black men. And so I always would run things off with Mike. So one day, I think it was like about 6 months ago, you saw Kwabi, and he went from what, like 5'6" to 6'4". He's 6'4" now, And good. Right. I said, damn, Kwame, what's up, man? I was like, because I remember him so small. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, he got broad shoulders. Right. And if And if Saba had given him to me, he'd have been a basketball player.
And if I'd known, that's what, because he got all those attributes. He picked up playing sports on his own, so he played basketball, he played soccer, he played different games. And I used to pray, like, I don't want him to play football because of getting hurt. I never told him not to, but I used to really pray for that. And so, speaking to that.
What's going on, brother? Come on, get on air with me real quick, man. Please, man. Come on, Gallon. Come on, man. You already dressed, man. Come on, man. Yeah, right around the corner. Yeah. Okay.
So I appreciate Mike saying that, and Kwabi actually worked for Mike for a period of time, so he know the growth spurt that he went through. Right. So yes, it takes both. It takes people that care about your kids if the father's not immediately there, and it takes real. You have to monitor. You have to supervise everything about your kids.
So it's a village. Yeah. So like what she's saying, monitor. Like so, and I love R. Kelly. But he has some issues, you know what I'm saying? Seriously. But I use him for that reason because anything that my kid, I was at practice every day.
Me too.
So it was not like you take my son and go over here. No, I'm here.
I'm sitting on the bleachers.
You a parent. Mm-hmm. Remember this conversation?
Yeah.
I'm talking to you directly. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? You got to be there.
You got to be there.
You know, you in the practice. You know, when Mike was playing sports, I'll walk around the track if I wasn't coaching. In the gym, I'm right there sitting down watching.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm just being honest with you. That's what you got to do.
That's what you got to do.
To prevent that stuff from happening because people
will take advantage.
Yeah, you know.
This lady told me, she was a Caucasian lady, and I had just got into teaching. She says, 2 things I want to tell you. She said, the kids that are just sent to school and parents are not taking care of them, they are the ones who are targeted. The ones where the teacher can align with the parent face and you'll find a whole different approach. And that stayed on me because I had 2 kids. So after work, taking them to after school things, I'm on the bleachers, I'm walking the track, I'm there bringing them lunch, just to thanking the coaches, whoever is mentoring or showing my kids something. I'm gonna try to have a positive relationship with them. Because
when you do that, your kids get the benefit of the doubt.
Right.
They're not thrown by the side. So I tell kids all the time, this is not racial. Mm-hmm. I tell them, your appearance says a lot. Mm-hmm. When you come to school and you tucked in, you have a belt on, they feel that he comes from a positive support system. And they're gonna push you a certain way. Now you come in here, some kids come in here, they just don't have it, but they still desire a good education. So you gotta be able to find that, because I taught for 8 years. So I was able to reach a lot of my kids because I know inner city kids and I know what they need and what they want, and they want to be loved. And I loved them. And they ran through the roof, or through the wall, anything I asked them to do, we got it done.
I agree with that.
You know?
And I used to spend a lot of my side money and buy uniforms for other people's kids. I didn't know the parents, but when I used to hear kids get sent home because they're out of uniform, that bothered me. So they had like a clothing closet.
Right.
And I used to buy them ties, the shirt, the shoes, and the pants. And I'd say, well, let me donate. And sometimes if I see the mom or the dad bring them in and I know they didn't have, I would say, oh wow, what size is that? Oh, that's a nice. So I can get it in my head, and I would give it to the teacher who was monitoring the clothing, and let her give it to them, because I didn't want them to think I thought they were poor or anything. So you do have to do more if you're thinking like a village. If you live in the village.
But if you're a true educator, people can take jobs now just for a job, just for the money, just to have a job.
Right.
If you're true educator, we don't have to discuss this because we know we got to do it.
We got to do it.
When you see kids fall short, you know, it's just like me working at a group home. I work extended hours at United Urban Outreach, but the money that I made, they was giving the kids 50 cents a day for allowance. That's $15. These kids in high school. I spent so much money on those kids, taking them to school shopping, taking them to real restaurant, went to Outback, we go everywhere. And I got a membership at the YMCA. So that was probably one of my better jobs, man. I mean, impacting those kids, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what you do. So I hope this year going forward, we all think about the bigger picture and do something greater than ourselves, because there's a lot of need out there. And education, again, is one of the things children need. It's essential, but there's other essential things. They need love. They need someone, that special person, to care about them and that will go the distance with them. So I just want people to know that we can do this, and we're going to do it. Educated, we don't care what color you are. We want to uplift you and take you forward, because that's important to us.
Right. This is my guy. Come on, guy.
I can get in between.
Yeah, no, you good, right? You good.
Huh?
No, just let he can stand up. He's good. No. So this is my guy right here, man.
Between Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, well, see, that's the problem right there. See how you come on the show right there insulting me for no reason.
No.
You know what I'm saying? You know, but listen, this is one of my best uncles right here, bro. He grew up with my dad. He's a member of Mega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. You see the color he got on, but he's a pastor, and he's one of my biggest supporters, man. I mean, like, anytime I fall short spiritually, or he see me and I look down, he pick me up. He's gonna say something about my fraternity, because I know why. Because everybody can't be a Kappa man. I get that, but this is my guy right here.
I thank you for inviting me on. There's some great things, and we know that God has already implemented into us what we need to make the world a better place. Education, very needed. Respect should become one of the pearls of our lives again, when our parents wouldn't let us go and disrespect anybody.
Right.
Now the kids don't respect themselves, so they can't respect the people around them. They use things to make themselves better. Respect brings about, see, education is great.
Right.
When I say beast, you're a beast, because you do things out of the norm.
Right.
To make other people's lives better.
Right.
Beauty, all she has to do is smile, and it'll make the world smile.
Thank you.
But as a man who has been brought up in a way to know that it's not about me, but it's all about what I can do to make my surroundings better.
Wow.
You got to know that just your presence, you're a king. Without being told that you're a king. She's a queen, and all she has to do is smile, and everybody knows that she's a beautiful queen.
Thank you.
But now when we talk about that word, education,
Yes, sir.
people run from it because it makes them feel lower or less.
Inferior.
But we have to understand, our parents taught us, you don't have to know, all you have to do is do. If you go out and be positive, people don't need to know that you're a doctor. People don't need to know that you have higher education. If you respect them, you made mistakes in life. You became a captain. But we're not going to look down on that, because everybody can't be the best of the best. But even though you try to do your best, you try to please people, you try to bless people, every now and then, people take advantage of your kindness.
Yes, sir.
And when you become the beast that God made you be, you got to say no to some things.
Yes, sir.
You got to tell them, I can take you to water, but I can't make you drink. I can give you a book, and if you can't read, I'll read it for you. But in the end, you have to learn to read for yourself. Not until you become self-sufficient can you become beneficial to this community. Thank you for allowing me to come on.
Awesome.
Thank you for being a blessing.
Thank you.
Queen, keep on smiling.
Thank you.
Beast, keep on standing.
Yes, sir.
And everything.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Be all right. God bless
Appreciate
you.
you.
Yes, sir.
Happy New Year.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir, brother.
Always.
Yes, sir.
So, I mean, that was beautiful.
Oh yeah, that's sincere. That's his heart.
Yes.
You know, that's one of my best friend, one of my best uncles. That dude right there, man. He can just walk in. What's going on, boy? What's wrong with you? And he'll know some of the hardships I've been through. You know, he'll say you gotta do it this way.
Right.
You know, so he always give me that good advice, that food for the soul right there, you know.
Right, and I love all of those things because it culminates into peace, love, and respect.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what we got to push forward.
But you know what, Saba? He said something about respect that we haven't really talked about that with the younger generation, and he's so right because I can remember you will never curse in the presence of an adult.
That's true.
You know, and if you did, and then the adult say, "Who's that talking like that? Who's that said that?" You'll run out of fear. You're gonna tell your grandma. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna hide your face because it brings shame to the family.
Right.
Today, man, these kids don't care about nothing. They just curse. They're just disrespectful. You know. And
why do you think that is?
It's come back to the parents. It's all gonna come back on us. You know. So I just, you know.
So, how many times have your son's school teacher contact you and said he said something rude to me? He called me a name.
I've never had that.
That's right. I never had that conversation either.
No, I never had that conversation.
Right. So why you never had that conversation? Because it starts at home, right?
Exactly.
It's clear, no mistake. I never had it, and I used to tell my kids, the teacher, she is never, or he is never to feel disrespected by you. If you have a problem with the teacher, just get home, get to me.
Right.
And the teacher and I will discuss it.
Exactly.
And once you give them that tool, that's how we move forward. We're not doing, we're not ad-libbing, we're not substituting it. That's the rule.
Wait, no, brother.
That's the rule.
My thing was with Mike and Mike and Shane, for the most part, if they had an issue, and they felt the teacher was Dad. Michael called me, Dad, look, do what happened right here. You know what I'm saying? He knew that I would take care of it.
Right, exactly.
You know so he just always remained a child, you know?
And that's a key. The parents do have to take care of it. If the child come home and tell the parent, I did what you told me to do, I need your help because the teacher is not listening to me, the parent have to go take care of it because now the student is saying, I trust you.
Right.
I respect you. I have the discipline that you instilled in me, so please go and help me out with this.
Right.
And that's what happens. This, I put my kids in a karate school, and I didn't even know what, he said one day to me, he said, I can train your kids, but one of the things in any training, the number one thing, they have to trust me to discipline them.
Hold on a minute. Hey, you gotta put them in on the shirt. It's cold out there.
Oh, he just took off in the car.
They have to trust me so I can discipline them in teaching kung fu, And that always stuck with me. Out of everything, it was expensive, but out of everything else, I learned that my kids respected me to discipline them. So they trusted me that I was going to do. I didn't believe in corporal punishment, but I did believe in instilling those values that they would know how to behave in any situation. And I gave them opportunities to behave in any situation, So application is a key part of watching your kids go through life. How do they address certain situation adversity? So and I was, as a woman, I was a strict parent. I was. My kids never missed a day out of school. I used to always tell them, if I go to work every day, you go to school every day.
Right.
So that's how we move through life, and it also trained me too. I'm disciplining myself so I can discipline them too. And so I notice how they approach work. They don't believe in messing around at work. They believe in going to work and doing what, So those skills start early. It starts early. So that's education too. That all of that is education.
Right.
So yeah. So I want to go back to the coaches.
Okay.
I want to give them. I want to kind of like call out some names.
Okay. You call their names and I'll expound on them. Okay,
great.
Yeah.
Okay, so we like to. I think last time we talked about Deion Sanders. He is definitely the trendsetter in going to HBCUs and doing what he has to do to show his expert skills to get to show them how to do it. Because even though he left, he gave the blueprint of how to do it.
So what Deion Sanders did, he made coaching at the HBCUs cool again. When really it never was cool, you know. But with prime time, over here, please.
Oh, okay.
How you doing?
Oh, good.
Yeah. No, you good. How you doing?
Good.
All right.
Sorry.
No, you good. You okay? So what Deion Sanders did was he got us. He got the SWAC just a lot of revenue. I mean, he brought all his resources. It was on TV every Saturday on the ESPN network in some capacity. He got sponsorships. So it was overlooked, but when Deion came, they got everything. Now you got game day going to black colleges and universities. That only happens to go to like the Alabamas, Notre Dames and stuff like that, but they'll do a game day now if you look at black colleges. And that's the Deion Sanders effect. But the thing about that is now, Sanders did all that for the SWAC, but it was met with resistance from the other coaches.
The coaches on the actual team?
The coaches that when he coached against in the SWAC, so he was at Jackson State, so all the other SWAC members, you would think they applaud and appreciate it, gave him a hug for his efforts. They hated it.
Wow. Why?
I call it black on black violence.
Okay.
I can show you. You can document this. You can pull it up.
Okay.
When he coached at Alabama State, he coached against them. Eddie Robinson Jr. didn't want to shake his hand.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? It was bad. Even so, we
right here, right?
Yeah.
Alabama. Oh, wow.
So we have some work to do within ourselves.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Because we don't love each other where we need to.
Right.
Now, when Eddie Robinson Sr. was coaching, his dad coaching at Grambling, it was all love.
Right.
It was a different time.
Right.
You know. So, but this generation right now, Deion did everything he could for the SWAC and left them in great standings.
Right.
And he propelled black college back to the glory days.
Okay.
And so now with him doing that, then you got, go to the next one.
Okay, the next one we got Eddie George, Tennessee State.
Eddie George won the Heisman Trophy at Ohio State. He played for the Tennessee Titans, a Hall of Famer. He came right behind. I think he probably came right there with Deion, or might have been even before Deion, but Deion just a bigger name.
Right.
You know, but Eddie George is a great guy, and he's still coaching right now today at Tennessee State, and they went to the playoffs this year, in the FCS playoffs.
Is that unusual, or are they normally going to the playoffs?
No, they don't really go to playoffs, but they play in the Classic. They play for the Black College National Championship. But so Tennessee
They've been
State,
elevated to that arena now.
Right,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay, Chris Dishman, Texas Southern.
Well, I don't really know too much about Chris Dishman, per se, to be honest, but I think he's an ex-NFL player that got into the ranks of college coaching. I think he might have played at T Southern. I'm not for certain on that, so don't quote me on that.
Okay.
But he does a good job at T Southern.
Okay, so come back up in the pipeline, Eddie Robinson Jr., Alabama State.
Yeah, so he was groomed for that.
Okay.
His daddy was the all-time winningest coach in history, not just black coach, black college football, period. Eddie Robinson, legend, coach at Grambling, stayed at Grambling all those years.
Okay, great. Bubba McDowell.
Yeah, he played.
Prairie View A&M.
Yeah, I think he played at Prairie View, but Bubba McDowell was a great football player. So he went back home, I believe, so.
Right.
Good job.
Right,
Yeah.
okay. What about Ed Reed?
Ed Reed was the guy I was talking about earlier. Ed Reed is not a black college guy, but he saw the need for the black college, and he wanted to be part of the movement. However, when he got in there, I think it was a little bit more than he bit off to chew. You know what I'm saying? Because he didn't understand everything that goes into a black college.
Right.
And I think what he was doing, he let his frustration get the best of him, and it didn't work out. It wasn't a good mix for him and Bethune-Cookman, so he just stepped away from the job.
So this is not new, right? There's always been NFL players going to HBCUs over the years.
Well, sometimes, but it's just not as head coaches.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Not as head coaches. You know, I know Larry Little, he played for Miami Dolphins, played at Cookman, he went back to Coach Cookman. You know, so it's been going on for but not like in the manner we see it right now.
Right now,
With
right.
Mike Vick, Deshaun Jackson, Eddie Joy. These are recognizable players that played in the NFL and had great careers. So I love it that they're giving back to the historically black colleges and universities.
Yes,
I think it's a need.
and that's always been kind of like the second tier talk, you know, to get, and this is going to do great wonders for them recruiting, right? This is a recruiting strategy as well.
Well, I think for people like Mike Vick, he went back to Virginia. He's at Virginia. He's at Norfolk State, and that's where he grew up.
Okay.
So he is the biggest guy that come from there. Well, they got great players in that area.
Right.
You got Percy Harvin, Allen Iverson, but all those guys probably gonna get together and support Mike in his endeavors to bring Norfolk State to the powerhouse stage.
What's the other guy that went along with him too?
Deshaun Jackson.
Right,
Deshaun, he's at Delaware State. So Deshaun is from California though, and so I think they're gonna pull their resources together.
Right, they are.
See, so this one thing about the pro players that's coaching now, I think they're gonna put their resources together to uplift the SWAC and the MEAC and get everything going in the Tennessee States and stuff like that. I think Vic and Deshaun, they played together, I think at some point with the Eagles, maybe.
The Eagles, they did mention the Eagles.
Okay, so they have a good relationship. So Delaware State is in the MEAC. I think Norfolk State is in the MEAC as well. So they'll play against each other, but I think they're gonna do some collaborations.
They are.
and stuff
They are
like that.
collaborating
Yeah.
in their trainings and
Right,
and
right.
their thought situation, how they're going to take
Right.
the teams forward.
Right.
So one of the things that I think is a really good piece about now this is trending. You see this happening more often than not. There's a place for retired NFL football players, and
Right.
along with the NIL.
Right. So, yeah, you're spot on. I think that any player that want to coach, you don't have to be an NFL player, but if you played college football and you was disciplined enough to get up and be on time, it gives you opportunity to coach at that particular university that you
Right.
played at, or you know, a black college. You know, if you choose to, you got you got to align yourself to be put in position to do these things.
Right.
Now, I do want to say something about the NIL, and I want our viewers to understand this right here. The NIL is a blessing,
Yes.
but it's also a curse.
You mentioned that. Elaborate.
So the blessing is, I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right. So the blessing is that it changed the family dynamic greatly from a monetary standpoint. Okay? So we don't have to struggle while trying to make it to the NFL. But the money is in the NFL. So now we get to the point where the NIL has become such a large amount of money that it kills some of the desire to make it to the NFL because the struggle is not there. So if you're not struggling to get here, you can't be, you got to appreciate the NIL and understand that, but you still got to be uncomfortable. Your goal is to play on Sunday. You know, and these guys right now, I hear a lot of the college coaches, they're saying that, man, I got to recruit my players every year again. You know, so I can tell you I'm proud about this right here. My son, Michael, he's at Baylor, and he made Big 12. He didn't play as much as we thought he was going to play. He's a hell of a player, and I think he's going to hit the portal today, going to another school. And this is fourth school, which I don't care about that. I just want him to be who God wanted him to be, and he's going to get an opportunity to be presidential. Now, the thing about that is, and I wanted me to put the business, I got to tell you, he's leaving a lot of money on the table at Baylor University to go to this other school, because the other school don't have the resources that Baylor has. So, I mean, it's commendable to me that he's betting on himself.
Right.
Because to walk away from $535,000 to go say, I know if I get to where I'm going, I can probably be a first or second rounder and change my life forever. So I'm talking to the fathers, I'm talking to the parents right now. Dog, if your kid get the NIL, I got one friend that did it right. That's Kevin Knox. they're a great family. Him and Michelle, they figured it out. Their kids are headed towards stardom right now with the NIL, and they still busting their butts. They're not falling for the banana tailpipe. Well, I got this money, I'm good right now. No, the goal is to become a professional athlete. So if y'all in Tampa, y'all can reach out to Kevin Knox. He got a blueprint for you. But the thing about, I'm trying to tell you guys, manage that money, put that money to work for you guys, for your children. Don't just buy all these material things and that depreciate once you minute you get them. You know what I'm saying? Put that money to work for you, and then you can make some better decisions and put yourself in a good situation. So when you get to the NFL, you're already used to it.
I just like that information you just provided to the community, and I also like to add that I think, like you said, if they have the right framework, parents working with them, they will not lose that drive, and they'll transfer over to the NFL because college is temporary.
Right.
It's definitely temporary. You're not going to be able to remain there forever, and as long as you stay a high commodity, you can stay there. And I think it's 27. Am I wrong?
What's that?
Play football there.
No, it's no age. You got 5 years.
Got 5 years.
You got
okay.
5. You got 5. You got 4 to play 5.
Okay, so it's definitely an expiration date put on it. So if it's your goal to go to the NFL, then that's your landscape of being the best you can be. And
so I mean to cut you off. I got to. So just as you said, to be the best you can be. So if Mike went back to Baylor, he still would have an opportunity to go to the NFL. I really believe that. But he got to shrink his personality at Baylor. You know what I'm saying? Go where, and he's going to another predominant white institution, that the coach know him and love him and want him to be who he is when he come into the locker room.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You got to find the right spots.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? And I preach that, man. And you should not have to shrink yourself for a coach.
Right.
He recruits you. He got to understand who you are and the kind of player you are. And if they're going to tell you they're going to do something, you should be able to hold them accountable for doing that.
Right.
And now, when the case at Baylor, we didn't complain about anything, but they gave him another contract, and the contract right before him, and it's like, hey, bro, I believe in you.
Right.
We're not really hurting as a family for money. You know what I'm saying? So get that money back to them, man, and bet on yourself.
I love that, bet on yourself.
Yeah,
I love that. So I think this has been a really healthy conversation for the community on both sides, football, NFL to HBCUs, and education in the community. Reach out to us if you have any questions or need additional information, because we're powering up this 2025. We want to be the best that we can be. We want our children to be the best that they can be, and we want everybody to come together and let's move upwards. Right.
So another thing, on January 20th, it's MLK Day. We are feeding the city here. It's free. We're gonna have both sides going. And it's going to be a great time. So we have a DJ out here. It's just going to be a good time in the city. Conan's Barbecue on January 20th. We're going to feed the entire city. Last year, probably about 1,500 people came through and got meals. So we're going to do it big as we can. Just God's blessing.
Yes. And that's a great thing. So please come out and show support and come out and be a part of the togetherness. And Happy New Year. 2025 is here.
Yo.
Next time. Love you, Tampa Bay.